Hello everybody, this is ZigZagZog coming to you from somewhere in this world. We're back to continue our playthrough of Empire Total War featuring the Darthmod and the 40 unit save version. And we're going to have one of those almost 40 unit battles. The Mughal Empire has close to a full stack here, and when we combine our units we will have actually 39. I was about to say 40, but I dragged along this militia that should have been kept in the port for port protection duty, so I will take him out. So we'll have our 39 regiments going up against their nearly full stack. So this actually will be probably unit number wise one of our biggest battles to date. In fact, so I don't forget, let's get the militia out of here. And this is what we're going up against. We don't know their strengths. All we do know is they're battle worn. It could be slight, it could be extreme. We'll find out soon enough when we get in there. But the big glaring advantage they have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 artillery units. That is compared to our 1, 2, 3. So they outnumber us 2 to 1 as far as artillery goes, but we do outnumber them in number of soldiers, and I would dare say quality of soldiers. And we're looking at a lot of the melee infantry, and we've proven now that we have fire by rank that we can stand up to them melee wise. So the melee battle I'm not worried about. We'll see what opportunities present themselves to get their artillery. So enough of the conjecture, enough of the chit chat, figuring out what we got to do. Let's start the attack. No walls because we destroyed them. So a nice open field battle ahead of us. 8,229 men on the Mughal side and 9,452 men on our side. So the United Provinces just does outnumber by what, about 1,200 rough, give or take. So our typical demand surrender, which will not be accepted. Oh! I take that back. Oh my lord, I expect... surprise. The games have a fun way of surprising you when you least expect it. I guess I shouldn't have tried to get him to surrender. Do we have a better picture of his army now that we engage? We still don't know overall health. Perhaps his overall health just wasn't as extreme as I thought at first. I wonder, and we can't, doesn't look like we can quite reach. Let's try anyway. There's the battle we were looking for. It just won't be in town. It'll be over in the rice paddies. There we go. Now I'm satisfied. Let's take a look. Yeah, the artillery regiments are nearly full strength, but they have some damage to their melee units, and that's probably... Oh, and they even have a mob unit here. So yeah, they aren't going to match up line troop, melee troop wise to us. The only way they really match up to us is via that artillery, and we do have plenty of cavalry, at least yeah, we got plenty of cavalry going in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 regiments plus the general's bodyguard. So we out mobility them also, although they have some ranged horsemen here. General's bodyguard is elephants of all things. That's what it looks like. So let's get in there and we'll see you down on the battlefield. Okay, the battlefield appears to be wide open with gently rolling hills, so what I'll have to do is get down to ground level. Yeah, you can even see getting down to ground level at this point that most of their setup zone is over a slight rise. So we're going to see and try to figure out our best locations for our artillery, and then set up the rest of the forces based on that. We do have a nice hill over here if it's in our zone. We'll come back, set up, and let you know how it is, and then just get this battle going. Alright, we are back with our setup. It may seem a little jumbled here on the left, but because of the rise, I decided to place 2 of my 3 artillery regiments over here. It covers most of their deployment zone from here, And this other one is on a rise back here behind our line. Should be no problem being able to fire over our line. That's how I've set up the artillery. I have our front line, 4 regiments that'll extend to the, to the left. I got 4 more regiments that'll be the reserves on the left. And then I have these 2 units of grenadiers that'll kind of position themselves behind the artillery for protection from melee. And then our 3 units of horse will go out to the left flank also. I have another 3 units of regiments of horse over on this side too. General kind of hold ground in the middle. I put my weakest units on the far wing, the 2 units of sepoys in square formation, at least to start, in case they try their often attempted flanking with cavalry, and then they're backed up by some very strong grenadiers as the reserves on the flank. So that's kind of the setup, and we're 2 deep over here. In fact, the only thing I will do is for the secondary line all the way down the line, we're just gonna set everybody up and take off fire at will, as I always do. I just haven't done that yet. And these troops right here will be secondary lines, so we'll take them off fire at will. And there we go. I think we have a great setup. I'm happy with it. We have the artillery has range that covers most of their deployment zone, and being slightly elevated on the hills as we are, we have good view of the battlefield. So that is our setup. Let's get this battle started, see where they are. The only thing we have to worry about, obviously, initially, is where is their artillery. Will they leave it exposed, as AI is often want to do, and will they give us an opportunity with our cavalry to extend out on either wing to take it out, so they can't endlessly bombard us with their little bit of strength, and that's our only advantage, and we're going to try and knock it out. Okay, they're fairly nearby. They have their artillery fairly close, so we could take some hurt. The one thing we're going to have to do quickly, though, is extend our line over here. I was thinking that we need to get it right there, and I'm going to run them just because we need to. I'm going to get our backup over here also. That hill is going to provide a problem, or present a problem, I should say. We'll get everybody running over in this direction. We'll also get our cavalry sent out to the side as fast as we can. And we'll get the backup on our artillery right here in the form of the grenadiers. We have somebody wavering, and that's some guns. We're already pounding their guns hard right now. I think what we'll do on this side is get our cavalry out from behind the line and ready to be able to roam free. There's nobody close on this side, so we'll get them positioned over here and ready to go. And their line is forming fast enough, I do believe. And this may be the side they're going to come against, because technically it might, you can argue, might be my weakest side. I wonder if this one regiment can get up on the other side of the hill. Might be a good idea. I'll run them a little farther, just as a reserve on this side. Oh, and then the move they started to make over here seems to have adjusted. And based on my movements, they do not. There's the general and those elephants. The question becomes, where is their artillery placed right now? They have artillery units right here. But for whatever reason... Oh, they're all readjusting right now. They're readjusting their whole dang line. So right now we have the advantage while they try to readjust based on our setup and our movements. In fact, if that general is going to keep himself out there, and what is he? He's supported by the camel nomads And we have bowmen, but if he keeps himself extended out there, we're just going to charge in with our own cavalry and see if we can't knock him out. If the general's going to do that, let's try. If he's trying to come around our flank, I think the other thing we'll do, that's where he's bringing his cavalry. Let's get over here with these guys, put them on the ability to fire, and then make square formation just in case the cavalry manages and the camels manage to do some damage to us. We'll see how our horses notoriously don't hold up well to the camel, and it freaks them out a little bit. I mean, the elephants, those are camels. Yes, I know the difference. My mouth just doesn't communicate the way my brain tells it to sometimes. Here we go. We got the bowman who may end up firing upon us, but he sends his general out. Well, guess what? The general is holding up well, but then we aren't taking a whole lot of losses yet either. To set some targets over here because they do not seem to be firing. So we are in a big tussle here. They have been supported by the camel. The general's unit is starting to waver a bit. But without any further support, we're going to keep our cavalry in here in this melee battle until they provide more support. We've cut down the general's bodyguard almost in half. Have not yet touched camels, and they are not showing the ability to fire within us. Okay, we almost got the general's bodyguard wavering. Can we actually kill the general? It doesn't look like it, but let's move on to the camels and make that happen if we have the power and strength to do it. And we lost. They've lost their general. That is definitely going to help us. Shame on them thinking the elephants were powerful enough to keep his general safe. And the rest of their line is mostly just setting up still. We are hampering their ability of their artillery with our own barrage. And we got some more camel gunners working their way out. So we may, I think it is time for us to look at retreating. Come back and fight another day if we start getting overwhelmed. I'm not up for that. Hopefully the square formation on the side will help us out. In fact, I'm going to bring one more regiment back here in case they continue that move on the flank following our cavalry. Uh-oh, we took some friendly fire there. Come on, guys. Don't shoot our own guys. Our square is breaking apart, unfortunately, as we ride through it. Oh, we're pulling out of square for whatever reason. We need to be in square, guys. In square. We're going to set this one up in square also as a two-tier square defense. Camels graciously stopped for us. Come on, guys. Come on, square. Fire. Uh-oh, because they're firing back. What is all this movement around? Fire, guys. Fire. These are not battle-tested troops. We need them to fire. At least this line is, not at a great angle. This line is even firing. Well, dang it. Get everybody moving and get these camels are gaining a foothold where they shouldn't be able to gain a foothold, and now we have swordsmen coming up, and we need to bring in support from our second line already over here. And they folded. I take that back. Driven off them, we have some more dervishes over here. So our flank somehow is holding. Let's stop you guys and get some fire by rank hopefully going on these guys to help support. We may get some friendly fire, but they're trying to come around the flank here. Now we're getting the push in the center. And now is when I do believe we need to switch canister fire at close range on these guys. We got to keep an eye with our grenadiers here, ready to move, but they're providing fire right now, which can't hurt. And it's wavering. I get some canister fire here. So that center charge has held. They've moved in on combat. So let's stop the fire. Help repulse this attack. And it just got repulsed. Like we'll reform over here. Ready for a second wave. Let's see what else we got going as we've been distracted. They're pretty much coming for us all along the line. And it looks like they're getting closest to having some success over here. In fact, our cavalry has not been helpful. We do have some more guns that might reform back here, so we'll send the cavalry over there. And they haven't quite been able to close in for the melee that they so desire. Our fire by rank has... I'm really noticing a difference on the melee defense with fire by rank than we did early game against our Native Americans when we did not have fire by rank. The numbers just plummet with each volley, and the volleys come much quicker with fire by rank. That looks like they may have the will to get in there close. So what we're going to do is bring in some support, and we also have a charge of the Camel Brigade. We're going to come forward with melee attack to help there too. And the rest of the line would appear to be holding just fine. What have we got out here? Bring cavalry around the side. We are ready with square formation over here. And our own cavalry has dealt with what remains of their artillery. In fact, here's one more over here. Let's get in there. And we are repulsed both of the threats against our line. Let's bring them back. And I think it's time to get the cavalry over here that had the initial action out onto the battlefield to help us out with our mobility. Do I not have us ready to fire? What is going on here, guys? Let's help him out. I have these units on the flank that are just... There's the fire going now that we're finally moving in front of you. Be able to run them down. So we've pretty much repulsed their wave as I expected, especially once we got their artillery knocked out of the way. It became easy. They had no support. So we're going to start running them down because this is an open field battle. That's the difference on this one. It's an open field battle where they can retreat. In fact, we have their some dervishes here. We're just going to charge right into it. I think cavalry's up to the charge. They're spread out. They're in no great form of defense to our charge, and we should break them handily. Numbers falling fast. Oh, we gotta get our... Let's stop the barrage here, guys. This is us. This is us. Halt, 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 halt. And let's just charge over this direction so these units aren't tempted to reform. And where's the other cavalry? We got them out front now. Let's give chase. They're reforming right here. We got some Islamic swordsmen. Now they sound tougher. They just sound tougher. Their numbers are greatly diminished though. Let's see what a charge does over here. Wave after wave of cavalry plows into them, and our numbers plummet even further. And we forced their retreat. Do we have any more active units that we need to address out there? I'm not seeing too many, so that could be it. End battle. We're going to continue because we can. We're going to run as many down as we can because this is a battle. They retreated from the city, so let's take a chance that because they retreated from the city, that perhaps they can't retreat from this particular battle. So we're going to end the battle right now, and we're going to find out if my thinking is correct. If not, we'll just keep on following them next turn and keep wearing them down. Heroic victory. All right, that's amazing. We lost 680 men to their 5,986. Oh, wow. That's a rout. And he was able to retreat, but it's an insignificant amount that was able to retreat. He left with a partial artillery unit, some dervishes, some camel nomads, the general's bodyguard, a few elephants without the general, and some more camel gunners. So wow, we did a number there. I'm hesitant to follow quite yet in case he has an army here where we don't have sight. Over in Hyderabad, help me if I can't pronounce that right, but we're gonna send our priest over here, see if can we get a vision over the rise. Nah, not quite. So we'll keep you in this province, although maybe what I need to do... Yeah, you can't move any further. Next turn we'll get you into enemy territory. That does seem to be the kind of territory you prefer preaching in, isn't it? Alright, we're going to redo this building here. We're going to tear it down and make it into one of our own since we are planning to hold this territory now. We have a couple sites here. We're going to do this one into church school, and we'll hold off on the rest, which will require a much more significant investment until we're secure, for sure that we are secure over here. Now that that battle's over, I think it is in our best interest to continue recruiting, because somehow the Mughals have a way of sending wave after wave after wave. So let's continue building up our forces. Let's see, we'll continue with this round. We'll go with VOC infantry, because we really could use to bolster this army up north. And let's see if this guy can afford to get back aboard ship and come back to the port that he should have never left. There we go. We've got it covered. I will, however, with our remaining funds here, well, no, I take that back. More important thing to do first before we start upgrading buildings and income is we did have a battle here. Let's get this battle, or this army, recuperating from their losses. And there we go. They weren't super significant. The cost wasn't, it was still pretty significant. And do we have this one repairing? No, we do not. So definitely this is our priority, is to get these guys repaired, healed up, recruit our replenish our losses, and then move forward. So to the north, we don't have to worry about anything, at least as long as we're allied with Britain. So our radar is off in the distance here. So once we have some control and can move forward, where is the next province? This one reaches way up. So there it is, Nagpur. And then our southern army can work against Hyderabad. That is the plan. I don't know that, well, amazingly enough, the public order is not a disaster at the moment. Alright. We still have them blockaded over here. Just want to double check because we don't want to give them... Yeah, that may have been an adjustment. We were giving them some potential income. Yeah, that one's blockaded also. So we're okay for the moment. Okay, as far as the threats we have going in Europe, it is Genoa that went. We have some of their troops isolated on Cuba, and this is the remaining troops that they have over here. Okay, they own Corsica also. We're going to see if we can't move them out of their capital, make them retreat to their island fortress. I don't know how much of a fortress it is, but I think what we'll do in the meantime is we will take part of our army out of Amsterdam and head it down to northern Italy to help us out. And once again, I noticed militia that we accidentally moved out of the port, so the port is now protected from damage. Alright, we're recruiting as quickly as we can. We got 5 regiments already recruited right around here. We'll continue with their recruiting as long until we run out of funds. So in the meantime, yes, we will send some troops down there. But I don't want to totally deplete myself up here. So what we're going to do is we're going to send a couple cavalry. We'll not send the general. We'll send... we're looking at 5 line infantry. 1 of our cannon. We'll go with the 12-pounder and leave the demi-cannons. And why not? We'll send down the 2 grenadiers. Let's see, the quickest way would seem... Who knows for sure? We're going to move towards Paris. Then we do have some funds to be able to recruit. I don't know how many, but let's find out. 994, we'll be able to recruit 1 more unit, but we're going to go ahead and do it. Big thing I noticed are our ports are done now, and as far as naval recruitment, oh, this port we did not upgrade. Let's see. One of the shipyards we upgraded was down here in Spain, I think. Is it done yet? We have the ability, once we get some more income, to start building second-rate ships of the line. So we're definitely going to want to start doing that to upgrade our navy, especially having to face Britain here somewhere in the near future. So that's exciting to see also. We never did heal this unit that ran out of New Orleans to take care of the raiding party we had over here. We can afford, they're small enough, we can afford to fix them back up. And this army is recruiting from their fight. And what's our situation up here? I'm just refreshing my memory. So we will need to do some repairs after this battle, because we're gonna need their support, I'm assuming, coming down to fight the Cherokee. Let's see if we have the ability to switch out a minister. The one I'm thinking needs it the most is our army minister. Let's see if we can find ourselves a capable replacement. And apparently not. No special skills there. Does anybody here have any army? And that's Navy. Here's +1 to army. And that's just where we're going to at least park him. I think I missed that next turn. We could have had that position done. So we've done our hiring. We'll have to wait for next turn to see if we can replace some of these low-level guys in America and India next, and then finish off with our head of the cabinet. With all the recruiting we've done recently, it's really eaten into our income because we have some massive armies now to maintain. So our income isn't as aggressive as it was, or as plentiful as it was. So we'll have to keep our eye on doing too much more recruiting. We're going to have to be really careful about that. Oh, and then just peeking around research and technology, we do have a new school in Oneida. Oh, I take that back. It's not the Cherokee, it's the Iroquois, and we are destructing that building to build it back up as our own. I don't know that I will build it up as a school, to be quite honest. We, in my mind, have enough research going on with the current schools that we have that I don't feel like I actually need another one. So we'll continue our destruction there. We don't even have enough gentlemen to cover all our current levels of schools anyway. So that should be it. We're going to head on out to another turn. We'll meet you on the other side unless we get any surprises mid-turn. And I did make one mistake in this turn, and that is to ignore the Genoa Navy down on the Ivory Coast. So they have an advantage again against us with a captured flute, very weak flute, and their admiral's 5th rate against a poor, weak galleon. All we can afford or try to do is run away. Do I even have any other ships down here to run away to? I don't know. This is going to be the last vessel down here. And also, in the meantime, as we run away, there's another ship that we're going to retreat and a sloop, see if we can afford to live another day. Because of my inaction down here, not that there was anything we could have done, Great Britain has taken over a trade node. I think Russia had some ships down here that are taking over some trade nodes, so we're losing some valuable trade down here on the Ivory Coast, which is a pain because of Genoa. So that's how they're costing us the most. Hopefully by taking over their provinces, we'll make some of that back that we're losing in trade. But anyway, let's retreat and see who he chooses to follow. Yeah, the easiest one, the sloop. Auto-resolve. And it survived. We apparently outran them, but it's going to sink because we already retreated. Okay, my iron workshops down in India have been raided over here. I didn't even see anybody raid them, but yeah, they've been raided. Must be just out of my sight line somehow. Oh, it was sabotaged, it said, not raided. So that's how it was. He's got a rake down in the area. Our trade route has been raided over here. I should have a navy close enough to be able to send down as long as I don't forget. So we can pay them back before they head down to the Ivory Coast and make things worse. In fact, I probably need to send part of my navy that's up here. I know I have one in transit coming back a little bit from India, I think, because I don't think that's arrived. So we'll need to send this down, take care of that fleet, and probably send them further on down into the Ivory Coast if that's possible. Let's just see what navy we have here. A brig and a 5th rate. We can easily outclass them, so we'll keep that on our radar. Enemy raid down in... I think what they did is they damaged our church school we were building here. Yep. In fact, it's still their building because we couldn't get the conversion done because they raided it, so it converts it back to what the original building was, and we're going to try and destroy it again. The wetlands were raided over here, so yeah, there's no sense fixing this up till we thin out their battles. And we did see the Mughals send a significant army right here down in our direction from up north, so they are in the process of consolidating and sending forces down to deal with us. I just wish I knew, and then let's not stop wishing I know. And while we're down here, let's send our priest over here to convert. And look. Okay, so it's not a huge, massive army over here that I was afraid of. So we are okay for the moment there. We have a successful rake missions here. We know about those. Where we have people embedded with their armies. Recruitment report. Construction report. Yeah, it's kind of withering away as I go to expanding the army, and our income this time is only 7,597. So big hit from what we're used to. And we have the 7 bridges of Königsberg. So let's go take a look at this piece of history. The city of Königsberg is bisected by the river Pregel, in the midst of which are 2 islands. 7 bridges connect the islands to one another, and with each bank of the river. Many visitors have whiled away the long cold Prussian evenings by contemplating the possibility of a walking tour of the city, starting and ending in the same location and crossing each bridge only once. Celebrated mathematician, physicist, and all-around spoil sport Leonhard Euler has typically spoiled everyone's fun by solving the problem. Disappointingly, it seems that it is not possible to complete the circuit, but it is the method by which Herr Euler has proved this that has proved exciting to the numerate community. The reduction of the problem to a set of nodes and connecting arcs is seen as the genesis of graph theory. There we go. And then our fleet. Is this our big fleet that has arrived after a long voyage? Yes, it is. So I can send my fleet guarding the home port down to take care of this thing, or at least a couple ships, and still have somebody guarding the home port. And you know what I'm going to do with this massive fleet? We're going to send them right back to the Straits of Madagascar and say to heck with you, grab whatever trade nodes are available in force and deal with the problem we have down there at the moment. In fact, what have I got down there in that trade node remaining? Really not much of anything. We're going to send this guy back up here to get repaired so that he can return at some point. He got lucky and escaped. And we got a bunch of trade nodes down here that are less trade nodes than there used to be. See, the Russians took this one over. Persia took this one over. If they hadn't already, the British are on this one. So that leaves, at the moment, I think, only 2 open trade nodes down here when I used to hold 4 out of the 5. So that hurt. And no big development. A lot of shuffling around, consolidating is what it looks like for the Cherokee. They've got their 2 biggest armies, one right here and one over here on the mines. Those are the 2 largest forces they have, but if they can manage to consolidate a bunch of tiny little forces that we've seen moving around, they'll be doing all right. I'm going to bring you back over here to New Orleans. Our force is full strength again, once again here. We're going to build up a magistrate. And how is our order looking over here? It's okay. We're still exempt from taxes. Let's look at our order over here. And it's okay because we got the armies parked right there, but it won't be when we move out. But we don't need to move out yet. Now, do we have any recruitment abilities down here? Just the native tribes, and not too many more of those are available, to be quite honest. We can't recruit anything till that building finishes there. What I have done, though, and I just recalled, I almost forgot that I had done this, we kind of came around and did some recruiting at several key locations down here, and I think what we're going to do is get these reinforcements gathered up so we can send them up to Georgia for the eventual attack, either against us or that we will carry out against the Cherokee once we are reinforced. So let's bring the fleet on the move to pick these guys up. I'm not going to spend any more funds. We're only going to load up main line guys. There we go. We'll come down here to see if we can't pick these guys up, even without a port. Alright, they are picked up. Let's see where else we might have recruited. Well, we didn't recruit line infantry that we need to pick up, but we can get him on the move to the port. In fact, what we can do is send this guy over to this port and send this militia unit up to this port. We can get our port covered here. Then in Mexico we also recruited. We have one unit. Let's see, what we'll do is we'll send this one over to the fishery. And send the militia that's here over to the port. And we can get our units here on the move, because I don't think our fleet can make it this turn to pick them up. We'll kind of get them there ready to be picked up. In fact, I wonder if I put them halfway. We'll try that in case this, in case I can only reach a certain port next turn and not quite all the way. We'll give ourselves the flexibility of being picked up next turn, hopefully. Now it's time to move this fleet to its maximum range so we can pick up the Mexican forces next time. And once the Mexican forces are picked up, yeah, right around here, we should at least get to them, I hope, next turn. Once they're picked up, we'll be able to reinforce our army in Savannah, Georgia. We'll find out if they get attacked first or not, but that's the immediate plan. And I'm not going to try bringing these over for reinforcements just for now. We're going to keep a little protection in New Orleans. What I do want to get up here is get this final army replenished. And that spent a big chunk of our funds there. We will try, for public order reasons, to get this building repaired or built. Get up to a magistrate again over here. Let's see what the public order looks like. And as long as the army's there, it's great. So we are not in a position to be able to move the army out of there yet. We do have the ability to make a building here. I'm leaning towards temporarily, just because we need the boost in morale. Let's get down here and build a coaching inn. Try and help with public order and get that converted as quickly as possible so we can move this army as quickly as possible without creating unrest. And down here we've gained some more recruits. We're going to load them up. This time not taking the militia with us. And take this navy out and send this force up north. And it doesn't look like we don't have any kind of port yet in this area. We definitely need some growth up here. In fact, just to help with that a little bit, I think if we exempt them from taxes at the moment, that should hopefully help with our growth. Now we can get our navy up here and get the reinforcements on the move.
Orders. Orders.
Bring the fleet back down, and then if what I'm going to do is build one more VOC infantry. I know I said I wasn't going to recruit much more because of the hit to my income I've taken, but I am going to do the one more recruit just so I can have a complete stack. I just want that complete stack over here. That's what I'm looking for. So every other trade node besides the Ivory Coast looks to be in order. Now, after the fact, I decided, well, maybe I should check them out, and they all look fine. Since I'm up here, I came up here to get the Navy to make a statement with Genoa here. But since I'm up here, I think, was this turn or last turn? I can't remember which turn we're on when we last tried to kick these guys out. Yes, we can try kicking someone else out. America's has more trade, so that's best to upgrade this guy first if we can. And we can't. He has Jughead and he has Pious, so that doesn't really help us. So darn it anyway. Our income sitting at 5,900. It's slowly sinking as we build. So we're not going to be doing any building of our second rates for a while. But at least we should have a buffer before we truly need them. Let's send a number of our fourth rates down to make a statement. And send a message to Genoa. Don't mess with us. And then we'll see if we can't end this episode with a little bit of a naval battle here. So we'll meet you on the high seas. Alright, we're going to be able to have the wind with us. We're going to set up over here. We're going to set up as a line just to have us moving forward. And let's go see where he ends up starting. Yep, right where we figured he probably would. And we'll start heading over that direction with the wind at our backs. And once our fleet gets close to theirs, we will come back and start the battle. Okay, we're starting to get close on in. I don't expect this battle between a brig and a fifth rate to matter much. Not really going to be focused on too much finesse. We're just going to get in there with all our ships as quickly as we can and just start pounding away. He's turning to get the first shot on us. I don't know that the fourth rates really outrange the fifth rate so much, so he's probably going to get that first shot off. Yes, he does. At a great distance. And we end up shooting against the brig first. So I think what I'm going to do is break up the line now that we've engaged. Just because it is, at least to my perception, they move a little faster out of line formation. So their fifth rate's focusing on our second, fourth rate. We're going to angle him off to see if we can't get also into this battle. He'll for sure be able to see the brig. He seems to be turning off to kind of break contact, which, to be quite honest, I'm not having a problem with. In fact, he's going to present his stern to us. We'll take it. Yeah, all of a sudden, by doing that, he went from winning slightly to losing slightly. Present that kind of a target. Oh, baby, yeah. So we try to get some other angles on this guy, bring this last fourth rate down that way. They were able to turn on the front, kind of get him from multi-angles here. The brig is getting somewhat pounded at the moment, because that's that's our closest target. And you just keeping some engagement with the fifth rate there, so that's fine, because you outclass the fifth rate. I just wish we had a way that we would enclose or get just a little bit closer so our shots meant more than these distance shots. So I feel like we're now at a range where I need to get this guy also on the chase. He's out of range. We gotta find a way to get 3 of our 4 vessels back in the action. Fortunately, We outclass, so a fourth rate, I'm not worried about him holding up. And we are taking a slow weakening to his hull on this side, whereas ours is not showing that weakening yet. So these two vessels just duking it out long range. While we're waiting for these, or hoping these guys, they probably don't have much hope of catching up, but we gotta hope that we weaken this guy's hull enough that he feels the need to turn out of the battle somehow, and therefore the rest of our ships can once again gain support and add to the damage in the battle. So it's showing that I am losing slightly, but finally he is concerned about his hull damage. So I'm hoping at some point he feels the need to turn and break this pattern. Of course, there's a good reason he shouldn't, because of these trailing ships that don't seem to be able to catch him, but we just got to keep pounding that hull. I've actually lost more men than he has, or more guns than he has, I should say. And more men. So his shots have been more accurate than mine, for whatever reason. He also does have a brig shooting on me too. But I outgun him anyway overall, so that really shouldn't, gives him a slight edge in guns. Our sails are showing the worse for wear. But his hull is showing the most worse for wear. And we just need to keep banging it down, even though we're taking some mighty hurt ourselves. So in hindsight, it was a mistake to send this guy off on a loop on his own. It allowed this guy to isolate him, or allowed me to become isolated, and all the rest of my vessels just playing the chaser role, being unable to catch up. We just need to get that definitive hit or two on his hull before because mine is starting to wear down now too. And we are concerned with our casualties. And a lucky fire started or whatnot can take this fourth rate out of action. I don't like having to hold up like this. It's why I brought extra ships that are falling too far behind. The disadvantage to the strategy, and the disadvantage to not bringing at least one of my fifth rates along to help out. Kind of angling to try and get the exchange of fire closer just because of his hull so weakened, thinking if our aim can be just a tiny bit better, but it also works against us too. We're down to 43 guns too, so we're definitely at a disadvantage gun-wise all of a sudden. So maybe I do try backing off and relying on the rest of our vessels. And try to slowly get some distance between us. And I'm afraid to turn away or turn in to get my other hull side facing him, just because it exposed me some shots that really could allow him to take this fourth rate out, which I don't want. But guess what? We're going to turn into the wind and do it. We got 3 other vessels. Okay, he just did his round. Let's get into the wind and get our good side. Hope we can make the turn without taking too much casualties. We already got a bow shot that can't be good. We can survive the turn, which is iffy. We might be in better shape. Okay guys, bring the guns around. Oh, your sails are in tatters. No wonder that turn was painfully slow. But I felt the way that we were proceeding so far was not in our best interest. So we survived the turn. Perhaps these ships can then get closer. At the very least, we can run back to them. guy seems lower in the water for some reason with his hull damage. So as we're running away, let's try to keep some shots firing. And then these guys are trying to move against the wind to gain position, so let's see if he follows. See if we can egg him on to come closer to our other ships. Got a stern shot on us, we're gonna have to be careful. We're having some other vessels that will start getting in range. Take over the battle, and we are concerned, we are routing. We're going to keep you here to try and get some shots on him. We're going to turn you around to try and keep pace with him. In fact, we're going to start angling you off now, try and head him off. And we have a new tag team wrestling match. You're out of the bout. In fact, let's get you totally with the wind and out of here. Let's bring the rest of us to bear. You're almost there. We'll just keep your routing south far to the distance. He's presenting his bow, which is interesting. His hull has got to be failing him. Oh, he's presenting his stern all of a sudden. He's trying to get a different shot over here. Both their hulls have been tremendously pounded. We're just going to turn in to get fire up close, since he's maneuvering again to outmaneuver us. A small brig has lost a mast just then, so he can't be much longer for the world, and he definitely will not have oh, a lot of maneuverability anymore. Okay, we've sunk him. It looks like he's surrendered because he's sinking. Now let's just focus on this last little brig here. I knew his hull had to be taking a pounding, and I knew it looked like he was settling lower and lower to the water. Put up a gallant fight, though. Looks like this guy could be suffering the same fate. Got the first blink of wavering. He's got to give up soon. He's routing, and it's not gone solid. It's close. It's almost over here. And he's routing, so we're victorious. I'm going to try and take him out, and we'll be right back when that's done. Whoa! That guy was stubborn as you don't know. Oh, what an ending to a tough battle. These guys deserve praise for how they fought, or I deserve praise for not doing better, or lack of. I don't deserve praise because of how I fought, but boy, these guys were tough. All right, that's it. We have ourselves a victory. And I don't think our fleet can make it back, but we're going to head in that direction. In fact, if we stop here, we can at least raid a little bit of the trade of Genoa. And that's going to be it for this episode. We had a really short one last episode. This one ran a little bit longer, but we're done now. We had a land battle, sea battle, and we're making some progress in fighting back against the enemy. So ZigZagZog signing off from somewhere in this world. Hey, remember to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it.